I'm Foster Miller. I'm a director of the American First Day Cover Society and chair of the membership and sales departments. Going to talk tonight about the covers that created by the late Hideaki Nakano. Hideaki was mainly known as a cachet maker, lived in the Detroit area, was known for his 8x11 super cachets. If you've read back issues of his ads in First Days, he claimed they were the only true First Days, the only ones of value, et cetera, et cetera. Also, it turns out produced thousands or hundreds, tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of other covers. And that's mainly what I'm going to talk about tonight. There are a few super cachets in there. This story sort of starts in October of 2019. I went out to Noblesville, Indiana, just north of Indianapolis, for the IndiePex stamp show. They were issuing another version of the Purple Heart stamp there. At one point, I was helping them organize the first day ceremony. So that was an excuse to make a road trip from Maryland to Indiana. Walked in the show at 10 a.m., started talking to Mark Goodson, who's from Indiana. And dealer Wayne Garrett walks over and says, I just bought the Nakano stock. Well, first of all, nobody had known he passed away. And Mark and I thought we would see a bunch of super cachets. And turns out that Wayne had bought 40-gallon tubs. And there were a few super cachets in there, but most of them were covers with multiple cancels, multiple stamps. On the back, they were stamped HN Local Post for Hideaki Local Post. Many of them were canceled 2, 3, 4, 5 times, sometimes over a 10-year period. And nobody knew about them. I've since been told that sometimes Nakano would sell a few of them at Detroit area shows. He never had them at a Cachetmaker Boards in America cover. It was only after he passed away. We only found out he passed away when a Detroit area dealer sent him an invite to a bourse and it came back marked deceased. I've never been able to find an obituary as to when he passed away. There are 2 pictures of Nakano with his super cachets. These were taken at AmeriCover in 2002 outside of Chicago. Unfortunately, the quality of digital pictures back then isn't what it is today, but that's what Hideaki Nakano looked like. He was well known for attending AmeriCover, for entering the cachet contest and getting very upset when he didn't win. One year, we almost thought would have to call the police on him. Yet 5 minutes later, he was calm and collected. Interesting person. He clearly thought he produced the best cachets ever. And if he didn't win, it was the judge's fault, not his. But Nakano always went to the shows with another Asian woman who for years we thought was his wife. Eventually we found out it was his sister. I found her obituary online, and she was a PhD computer scientist who taught at Cornell and other universities. I recently saw a post on Facebook. Unfortunately, didn't have time to get back to the person, but that person reported that in 1975 and 1976, he took computer science courses for Nakano at Wayne State University in Detroit. I believe Nakano ended up being a high school math and computer science teacher. He lived on the 6th or 7th floor of an apartment. Apparently had 3 storage units full of covers. Wayne Garrett eventually ended up buying 240-gallon tubs of Nakano covers, of which maybe 20 or 30 are left. Here is a picture of Nakano with Andy Dobak from the Connecticut Cover Club. This was at AmeriCover 2006 in Cleveland, and that's former AFDCS President Chris Lazaroff standing in the background. Another Nakano item with his photo on it. He liked to go to international stamp shows. This cover is from Phil in the Pond in Tokyo in 2001, and they had personalized stamps there. The bottom row is 5 of Nakano's personalized stamps showing his photo. And there's a second one from the show with 2 rows of the same photo. Most of the covers you're going to see now are what he called HN Local Post, frequently done 1 of a kind, 2 of a kind, and just to me, very interesting. This is something that's completely different. It's a 3-dimensional one for the Michigan statehood stamp. Again, he lived in Detroit. And the one thing you'll notice on this and almost all of Nakano's covers is he has a perfin on it that says HN. Why did he do it? One time he said because he could. And this is the back of the cover. This one he did 90 of. And it was the number 401 in his HNLP or HN Local Post series. Nakano loved the Celebrate the Century stamp and put together lots of covers with US Celebrate the Century, Canadian, I believe the Canadian was called the Millennium collection, and foreign equivalents of Celebrate the Century. The stamps on the right are from the Republic of Guinea in Africa. They were not first day canceled. They apparently bought the mint souvenir sheet. They're canceled at his favorite postique in Detroit. And you notice the top right stamp has his HN perfin. When he used multiple stamps, almost always the rightmost stamp had the perfin. And he sent this one into Kansas City 3 times for first day cancels, the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. And the note on the bottom, 1 of a kind, and with a rubber stamp with a 6th floor address. There's a similar one, again from the Republic of Guinea. Lots of topical things for the collector. Babe Ruth, the Titanic, the Lions, and 3 more Celebrate the Centuries, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Here's another one he did. This is from Micronesia in the Pacific Islands. Rather than just doing the century, they did the whole millennium. This is their 1920s series. 4 extra cancels on it. 2 of the last in the series for the 1990s. A postmark from the first year, 1st of January 2020. Those of you who were around back then may remember USPS did lots of postmark of the century, they called it. And since there was space in the bottom, this is a postmark from the West Suburban Stamp Club exhibition, now known as the Plymouth Show. They are an AFDCS chapter, and that one has his HN perfin on, and like next year, 2000 is the year, or was the year of the dragon. So another similar cover. This one is the Micronesia sheet for the 1970s. Those of us around back then may remember the gas shortage and Earth Day. Here's one from Liberia. Again, the not first day canceled, but he obviously bought the mint sheet. A number of pictorial cancels from the Motopex show in Dearborn Heights, sponsored by AFDCS Chapter 5, the Motor City Stamp and Cover Club. Also, a postmark from the following 2 weeks later from the Ann Arbor show. If there was space on the cover, he put a postmark on it. And another millennium one. This is from the island of Nevis in the Caribbean, showing events from the 1990s. 2 in the US 1990s. And I'm not sure the significance of May 17th. We have not found any records of how he did all this. I'd love to find it. Love to know more of why he did some of these things. Sometimes we just have to conjecture or do a lot of research on the internet. Another one, sculptures of the 20th century. And this one has the Canadian Millennium collection. Their equivalent of our Celebrate the Century. These are canceled in Sandwich, Ontario. Many of the Nakanos are canceled in Windsor, which was right across the Ambassador Bridge, Detroit, where he lived. And this one has two of the postmarked centuries, December 31st and January 1st. And again, one with his perfect. Another Millennium collection. This one is from Republic of Togo in Africa. Couple of Canadian Millennium collection, actually four of them get canceled on their first day in Sandwich, Ontario. And the US canceled postmarked a century once again. Another one from the Republic of Guinea, events in the 20th century, and three sets of US Celebrate the Century cancels. The Republic of Niger, again in Africa, we have the Big Mac, Monopoly, Gone with the Wind, lots of stuff for topical collectors, and three more US. And the last of these does have his HN Perfin on. More Millennium, Republic of Guinea, the 1990s US Celebrate the Century, postmarked a century, and a first day cancel from 2001 for the Year of the Snake. Nakano attended the CAPEX show in Toronto in 1996 and produced a number of multi-country covers. I particularly like this one because I collect the Isle of Man, and Isle of Man had stamps and souvenir sheet showing the Manx tailless cat, and this is their show cancel. This one is from the Gilbert and Ellis Islands in the Pacific, showing a train, mail delivery vehicles from Bermuda. Canada issued their set with mail delivery trucks, and that's their first day cancel. US issued 4 stamps with prehistoric animals, and this is the woolly mammoth with the US show cancel. And since there was room on the cover, there's a cachet for the Bermuda Post Office. This is the official Isle of Man first day cover with the Isle of Man cancel and the Isle of Man show cachet. Again, the Canadian stamp, one of the Canadian mail trucks from the show, and the US saber-toothed cat from the prehistoric animals. In addition to the souvenir sheet, the Isle of Man also issued 5 stamps and a coin, a £1 coin, and the coin also shows the Manx cat. So this is a philatelic numismatic cover. First day with from the Isle of Man, and again the US show cancel. Actually, the bullseye of the US show cancel. Isle of Man also at that show issued 4 stamps showing the Royal British Legion, showing poppies, and this is their official first day cover. Nakano added a US George O'Keeffe stamp that also showed a poppy. Continuing on the theme of Isle of Man, this one is not from CAPEX, but this is their Christmas stamps for 1997. And he added the US Madonna stamp from that year, issued at National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. And I remember I was at the first day ceremony for that, and that has his HN Perfin. Isle of Man always puts stuffer cards in, providing more information. This is the background on the stamp and the printing background. Another Isle of Man dual cancel. It's actually one of my favorite sets of Isle of Man stamps. They issued 8 stamps showing planes that have served the Isle of Man, starting with a Sopwich from probably the 1910s up through a modern 757. This is their official first day cover, and Nakano added 2 of the US, I think it was called Classic Aircraft Series, issued a date in it, the air show there, and you notice that only the rightmost stamp has this HN Perfin. US and Canada won Canadian stamps issued on Veterans Day, and US stamp. First day is for the Stillwell 10-cent stamp issued the APS stamp show in Providence. To make the first straight, he added John Hines from the Distinguished Soldiers issued earlier in the year. I believe this, yet the Providence cancel was actually done at the show. I remember Nakano being there. This is getting more typical of his multi-cancel one. He bought a 1971 MacArthur Art Craft first day cover and had it canceled 3 more times. And again, the same cancels with Stillwell from the APS show in Providence. You'll note that the Stillwell stamp doesn't have a perfin on, which suggests that it was canceled at the show. Also, the Purple Heart from Mount Vernon and the World War II Veterans Memorial, both from 2003. How he kept track of these three or more years apart, we don't know. With a computer science background, I'm guessing he may have had massive spreadsheets. Unfortunately, I think they are lost. Again, another combo Artcraft plate block of the 1985 Korean veteran stamp, and adding the 2003 Purple Heart and Korean War veterans. One of the neat things about Nakano, he did multi-cancel covers on first day covers from places I have no other first day cover from. I can assure you this is the only first day cover I have from the Maldives Islands in the Indian Ocean. In 1979, they did a set honoring the 100th anniversary, the death of Sir Rowan Hill, the inventor of the penny black. And the Nakano add the letter carriers and the, try to remember the name of the big stamp show for the Postal Congress in DC in 1989. Also, don't have any first day covers from Bulgaria. Bulgaria had a set of mushrooms. I guess Nakano found this in a $1 box. And in 1989, CAD issued 2 stamps showing mushrooms. And this is the unofficial location first day cancel from his favorite Philatelic Center in Windsor, Ontario, just across the bridge from the train. Also don't have any North Borneo ones. Found this 1947 cover with a monkey on it, and dual canceled it with the year of the monkey. This one is from Laos, showing mythical creatures in U.S. America's stamp from 1989. On the back of it has his HN Local Post, and Sumiko Nakano was his sister. And this is the only cover I found with her address label on. This is a postcard from 1974, picture postcard for the grand opening of the World Golf Hall of Fame in Pinehurst, North Carolina. In 1995, the U.S. issued a set of recreation stamps, one showing golf at the International Golf Hall of Fame in Jupiter, Florida. So Nakano added that, and Canada that year did a golf clubs set, and that's the 3rd cancel on it. And this is the back of the picture postcard showing the Pinehurst Golf Hall of Fame. Nakano did lots and lots of Christmas combos. You'll see it right at the end, a couple that I picked up in Boxborough 2 weeks ago. This is one of my favorites. Australia in '96 did a set of 3 stamps with the theme of the Christmas Carol. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, and Nakano canceled it with the U.S. Madonna stamp issued in Richmond at the Richmond Museum of Fine Arts. There's the back of the cover, again with his HN Local Post rubber stamp. This is an interesting cover. This is the Christmas Island, Australia, '97. Several people have suggested that Dave Bennett did this cachet. Dave assures us he did not, and the back of the cover proves it. But there are 3 Christmas stamps from '97 with the U.S. stamp with his perfin from the National Gallery of Art, and one of the Canadian Christmas stamps from that year at the Sandwich Post Office in Windsor. And there is the back of the cover, and notes that the cover, the cachet was actually done by one Lisa Christensen. If you look at it, it almost looks like something Dave Bennett would have done. These are a couple that Nakano did on Fleetwood covers for Marshall Islands. They did like 100 different stamps for World War II. And Nakano did dual cancels with similar US stamps. The Marshall Islands one is the Battle of Java Sea, and the US called it the Battle of Coral Sea. There's the back of the cover. This one is MacArthur being evacuated from Corregidor, and the US Corregidor falls. The back of the cover again. Marshall Island stamps were done. Howard Koslow was probably best known for doing all the US lighthouse stamps. Great stamp designer, very friendly person. Did several presentations I saw at the Post Museum in DC. Fortunately, he passed away a few years ago. This is my favorite cachet from that set. It's the one for Doolittle Raid. I really like the detail on the cachet, down to the sailors watching Doolittle, cheering Doolittle taking off. Again, the dual cancel with the US stamp with his person. Back in the cover. Nakano was definitely at Washington 2006. I remember seeing him there servicing lots of covers. Didn't know what they were at the time. Probably could have gotten some from him then. But this is the stamp from Monaco for the show with the US, one of the US stamps. Trying to remember the title of the series, but they did a sheet of 40, and you notice it does not have a perfin, which says he canceled it at the show. Wonders of America was the series. And here's a cachet craft first day cover for 1972 Old Faithful with the steamboat Tallest Geyser, also from Yellowstone. Again, back stamps noted, only one made. Here's another triple cancel one, US Great River Road. It goes down the Mississippi River. It also has two steamboat first day cancels from the steamboats that came out in May or March of 1989, and the classic mail transportation from the stamp show in DC in 1989. Canada Holocaust first day cover from 1995, to two related US stamps from the same year, and Roe Wallenberg stamp from US from 1997, issued at the Holocaust Museum in DC. There's the back of the cover. Nakano would do cancels on anything. He apparently liked to order fancy checks. These appear to be valid checks. Haven't tried to cash them or anything. Since he's dead, they wouldn't go through anyway. But it's a set of 4 Dr. Seuss stamps with a first day cancel, and he calls them checks on the mail. This next set, the 12-cent Stanley Steamer here, is one of the first 3 US stamps issued on April 2nd, which is my birthday. So I collect the issue. So I saw this, I had to buy it. Since then, there have been 3 additional stamps on April 2nd, but this is the 12-cent Stanley Steamer, and whole set of related cancels on autos. On the 4 corners are 3-dimensional stamps from Buhatin in the Himalayan mountains showing cars. There's a show cancel from Color Stamp Expo, first day cancel of the Stutz Bearcat, 1929 Pearson came, the APS show in Detroit. Yet another show cancel, and this is first day cancel for the school bus foil. So yes, he used every bit of space on the cover. But no, that he didn't stop there. one more show cancel on the back. Here's a similar cover. Again, the first day of the Stanley Steamer with his Perfin. Cover Expo, Stutz Bearcat, another show cancel, and three-dimensional stamps on the sand dune countries in the Gulf. Another similar cover. Again, 4 three-dimensional stamps from Buchanan. The whole collection of first day and show cancels. And one more. Since I collect the Stanley Steamer, I had to buy all the different varieties. This one has 5 and three-dimensional stamps. And again, there's another one. There, both of the ones with his Perfins on it. I also have a very small collection of Alexander Calder first day covers. Calder and I have something in common. We both have undergraduate degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey. Calder never did a day of engineering. He went on to be an artist and a sculptor. This is the U.S. Stamp issued at the National Gallery of Art, a Canadian painting stamp. Louise Nevelson, issued at the AFDCS show in the Mega Event in New York. More U.S. artwork, and the cachet is the salvage from the left side of the U.S. sheet. This one is another oversized item with a science fiction theme. U.S. space discovery, a souvenir sheet from San Marino. E.T., more E.T., a show cancel from the Motopex, and another one from Dearborn, both with moon landing themes. A multi-stamp collecting theme. The stamps in the middle are canceled to order from, I guess it's Ajman, one of the sand dune countries that made money in the early 70s issuing stamps for collectors. U.S. Ameripex stamp from 85 with his Perfin. Stamp collecting booklet from 86, also promoting the show. UN first day cover for the stamps issued at the show. He found this one 7 or 8 years later. This is one of the stamps for the opening of the National Postal Museum, and a pictorial cancel from 1985. Again, he really liked the Celebrate the Century stamps. This one is a Lucille Ball themed one. U.S. Celebrate the Century stamp. A souvenir sheet from the Republic of Chad in Africa. Various TV related stamps to celebrate the century. The Hershey's chocolate for the famous show where Lucy is working in the chocolate factory, and the Lucy stamp, and another souvenir sheet from the Republic of Chad. This one has more three-dimensional stamps from Buchanan. The theme of mythology, U.S. America series from 89, Canadian mythological art, more Canadian from the first day cancel from 1990. This next series is what's been called the Disrespected Presidents. They are 6 3/4 covers that Nakano did, and I warn you in advance that a few of them will approach tasteless. Hopefully nobody will be offended. This one is Calvin Coolidge, and he advocated non-interference, and the person is suggesting that he may have been involved in some with her baby, and he should be. It would be his business. Grover Cleveland was the only president married in the White House, and commentary is person's not a flower girl, it's the Secretary of State in her dress. Interesting. Benjamin Harrison, when he was elected president in 1889, there were significant corruption in the election. And this is his grandfather, William Henry Harrison. While he was president for a month since he died, ghost of him appearing to his grandson. James Polk bought California, and Nakano was having him suggest that somebody needs movies, surfboards, and Mickey Mouse. Really like this one. James Madison was president in 1814 when the British captured the White House. And Nakano has Madison claiming to be a butler, trying to get away from the British. Completely historically incorrect, but kind of funny. John Quincy Adams founded the Smithsonian Institution, and here's Adams having his collection of junk, wanting to turn it into a museum. Andrew Johnson was the first president to face impeachment, and here Nakano is asking why they called it impeachment if they only throw apples at them. Another kind of funny one. James Buchanan was the only bachelor president, and here Nakano has him saying he broke a date last night because he was busy starting a war. This one's a little bit tasteless, but Nakano was Japanese, so it was his sense of humor. Millard Fillmore opened trade with Japan, and he's saying maybe the people in Japan will make something we can use. Well, I guess they did. William Taft was the only president later to become a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He was also rather heavy, weighed about 350 pounds, and here he's threatening to sit on somebody. A little bit of trivia on Taft. He was a baseball fan, and he went to the opening day of the Washington Senators, and while he was president in the seventh inning, because he was big and fat and the seat was small, got up to stretch, and the rest of the fans joined him in, and that's supposedly the start of a seventh inning stretch. Franklin Pierce apparently tried to please everyone as president, and here he's giving a gift to the governor of Montana, which wasn't a state at the time, so again, it's not quite historically correct. James Monroe, talking about a different hemisphere. Martin Van Buren was apparently called the Little Magician. This one is definitely not historically accurate. U.S. Grant was very generous to the Confederates and Appomattox, and let them go home with their horses so they could have jobs after the war. Rutherford B. Hayes, what was definitely friends to the South, whether or not involved with the Ku Klux Klan, I don't know, but this is Nakano's sense of humor. This is a truly interesting one. This is one of his SuperCachets, number 1735, which shows the volume what he did. If you look at the 1 cent official mail stamps there, spells out the word Obama. There are 41 of them on, and he supposedly did 95 covers. So he must have fixed an awful lot of 1 cent stamps. These next two are really interesting. 11 other UN first day covers here are cutouts from envelopes when their first day cancels, and then he had the US stamp for the anniversary of the UN. Here's a similar one he did, again with 11 UN stamps. I guess he bought a lot of inexpensive UN first day covers and cut the stamps off and made a first day cover. Another UN one he did, UN Geneva, for eliminate racial discrimination, and he added the US Paul Robeson in 2004, and 7 years later, Barbara Jordan, I mean. How he kept track of them for 7 years, I have no idea. Another UN one, UN stamp for 50th anniversary, US stamp, and the US stamp is comboed with the 2 cent first UN stamp from 1951. Similar one, except this one is comboed with the toward the United Nations stamp issued in memory of Franklin Roosevelt. He found a 1956 patriotic cover with used for the UN Declaration of Human Rights with a Christmas seal and another seal, and he dual canceled it in 2001 with the stamp issued after 9/11 for United We Stand, again with his person. UN issued a a stamp for the Wright Brothers centenary, UN first day cover, dual cancel with the US stamp. Of Christmas related ones, the cachet, I guess you would call it on this, are seals from the National Wildlife Federation, showing the various birds and animals. The US cardinal stamp, 30-cent rate, and the 29-cent cardinal self-adhesive stamp issued for Christmas and canceled 3 years apart. There's a similar one with different seals. Another Calder one, I should have put this one earlier in the presentation. US first day cover and 7 Canadian abstract art stamps. First day canceled in the Sandwich Station in Windsor, Ontario. San Marino stamp showing a deer. It will cancel with the US Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stamp. Christmas stamp from 2014, both the regular stamp and the stamp issued by the self-service kiosks. Then a couple here, which I added to. In 2008 at the APS show in Hartford, the US issued a stamp showing sunflowers. And this is a actual sunflower seed packet with the seeds still in it. And when the US in 2022 issued a sunflower stamp, I dual canceled it. There's another sunflower dual. This one did not come from Nakano. Turns out that Hideaki Nakano and Cachetmaker Doris Gold were correspondents. And in one of the fundraising auctions, the AFDCS sold a bunch of material that Doris Gold had donated. And some of it was her, one of the files I got was her correspondence. And I happened to collect this TVA stamp. I already have one of his SuperCachets, number 126, with his TVA stamp. But this is one that he sent through the mail to Doris Gold. The back of it has his return address on it. And apparently he did 71 of them. And here's the letter that was inside of it. I'm talking about his interest in the subject. Here's another one he sent to Doris Gold. This is for the volunteer lend a hand stamp. This stamp was designed by Chris Cowie. I think he used his hands as the model for it. Nakano issued for his local post 15 stamps showing other ways to lend a hand, some of which are rather satirical. Pushers giving a needle, politicians passing the handshake with money, Girl Scouts with Girl Scout cookies. There is the letter inside of it. It says he has nothing against volunteering as long as he's not the one to do it. And there was also a second letter in there for the oxygen stamp on Joseph Priestley. Here's another one that he sent to Doris Gold for the Olympics with his own Olympics stamps. The Trump pics on it are not our former president. They're Trump's for playing bridge. But he did a whole variety of things ending in pics rather than Olympics. He notes that cachet makers could not use the Olympic symbol because it's copyright, but his images are not copyright. Anybody can use them. And there's this letter to Doris Gold. This is not a first day. This is just more correspondence he sent to Doris Gold with a set of 4 local post stamps he did showing the Beatles. Another similar one, this time some of his local post stamps are honoring Brooke Shields. There's a couple, actually all 4 of them are honoring the TV show Three's Company. So he just didn't limit his work to first day covers. This is how he sent mail. This is the back of that one. We'll hop on to some more that he did over a multi-year period. The top half is part of the U.S. Souvenir sheet from 2005 to For a More Perfect Union. In 2011, 6 years later, African-American painter Romary Bearden, and then the March in Washington 2 years later. Love to know how he kept track of all this. These are kind of interesting. These are his own, he calls them fake souvenir sheet. These are the Disney, these are the Art of Magic, and these are the backs of the stamps. So he's created a souvenir sheet of the front and the back of the stamp. A lot of care and feeding, not easy to do, but apparently he could do all these. This one has all 5 Disney sets with their appropriate first day cancels. Each time the right stamp has its perfect. This is a cover I bought for Otto Thomasat from the Gravener chapter. Otto is a West Point graduate, collects the 2002 West Point issue. Well, this one has a West Point theme of a Tom Cruise missile. Again, his 6th sense of humor. Also, another one I got for Otto, the West Point stamp from the U.S., Canada military, multiple Canada military and Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So he started this one in 98 and canceled it, ended it in 2002. This one is with an eagle and flag theme is interesting. What's actually canceled on is a brochure from the Danbury Mint, has multiple U.S. eagles, the West Point stamp, the cover an eagle for AmeriCover, and eagle official mail stamp. Getting back to the Christmas theme, this one has a sheet of labels from the American Bible Society, 1994 U.S., 1996, 1998, 1997 U.S., and just not to be left out, a 1997 Canada. This is one of his early ones, number 35 from 1981, when the U.S. issued stamps for savings and loan, showing coins, and these are actual coins. Buffalo nickel, I think that's a Barber dime, Indian head penny, his local post stamps, but they're actual coins in the cover. Very creative. Going on a movie theme, a souvenir sheet from the Republic of Turkmenistan. I believe the stamp was never issued there. U.S. stamps, Humphrey Bogart, Cary Grant, Ronald Reagan, John Wayne, and filmmaking from 2000 through 2005. In the middle is a souvenir sheet from, I guess that's Venezuela, for 500 years in the Americas. U.S. New Mexico, Frida Kahlo, Quito Puente, Julian de Burgos, from 98 through 2011. 13 years, a lot of work doing the cover. And I collect Iowa Man. Iowa Man is famous for its annual motorcycle race, the Taurus Trophy, or TT. And this is one of their many sets from 1987 for the race. U.S. did motorcycle stamps at the Sturgis Rally in 2006, and that's this no cancel cover. The Iowa Man always has a stuffer card, and there's the stuff back of the stuffer card. Iowa Man also issued a set of stamps for the brothers Gibb, the Bee Gees, who were born in the Iowa Man. So it's an appropriate first stamp for them to issue. The Nakano added the disco and teen fashions, and CD stamps celebrate the century. And this is how he did all the celebrate the century ones. He glued the stamp on and cut out the back so you can read what was on the back. And there's more information on the Bee Gees from the Iowa Man. This one has a medical theme. He bought an Anderson cachet from Cancer in the 1965 stamp. This is the first day for the breast cancer semi-postal in 98, diabetes in 2001, prostate cancer 1999. So this one he serviced over only 3 years. Czechoslovakian first day cover for the TV industry, celebrate the century from 1940s, 1970s, and 19 Lucy would have been 1950s. Okay. And again, only one of a kind, and he's cut through the back so you can read the verso text on the back. Another Czechoslovakian first day cover. This one has a water theme. The Czechoslovak stamp shows a waterfall, U.S. mountains, and a steamboat, and Canadian probably visit British Columbia. U.S. Large cachet, not sent for advertising, for St. Lawrence Seaway, and a Canada stamp for the one of their Lachine Canal. Another Canada dual canceled one. This is a Rosecraft cachet. They were a famous Canadian cachet maker. Voyage of Nonsuch, and he added Voyage of Cabot from 1997. Again, from Sandwich Post Office in Windsor that he frequented. 1973 Canada Rosecraft Christmas first day cover. 1994 U.S. Santa. 1995 U.S. Santa. A dance themed one, Western Silk from 1978 that he picked up. 2005 Salsa. 7 years later, the dance from Joe and Catherine Dunham. A second one from the original from the folk dances from 1978. Similar combo cover. There's the third one, and somebody apparently had the fourth one. They only have 3 of the 4. He liked to find obscure covers in dollar boxes. This is a cachet cover for the anniversary of dedication of the Washington Monument, February 21st. Dual cancel in 2013 with the March in Washington, showing the Washington Monument, and the cherry blossoms for 2012, showing the Washington Monument. Again, they both have his perfin on it. A Washington's birthplace cover from 1939. 3 later Washington stamps. The 20-cent all postcard rate, 20 cent issued at Wall Drug in Wall, South Dakota, 23 cent, and the second 23 cent for a different printer. Artcraft Andrew Mellon with dual canceled for giving and sharing, and combo with the DeWitt's from Reader's Digest fame. Alabama statehood, art crafting probably found in a 50-cent box. It added the 34 and 37 cent greetings from Alabama in 2002. The Super Bowl in 1982, Super Bowl 16, was held in Pontiac, Michigan. This one is a little bit blurry because the scanner focused on this. This is an action button from the show that is attached to the cover. He has his own local post stamp, the cancel from the Super Bowl, a playing card stamp given out in conjunction with the Super Bowl. I believe this is a transit receipt that has the score on it. Anything you can put on a cover, he would. This is the only one I've ever seen that with an actual Super Bowl button on it. Staying on sports, baseball, the 1992 Olympic baseball stamp, 2010 Negro Leagues with his perfin, 2012 Joe DiMaggio again with his perfin. This is from Ireland. Their Year of the Rabbit, 1999 U.S. love stamp. It's the first day for the love stamp, not the Year of the Rabbit. And this is one I added to since this year we had the Year of the Rabbit. So I kept the tradition going and add the U.S. Year of the Rabbit stamp to it. There's the back from the Irish Post Office. A similar one that I added to. This one has a bunch of bunny stickers on it. The Year of the Rabbit from 1999. Arctic Hare from the Arctic Animals in 99. 12 years later, he added that year's Year of the Rabbit, and I added this year's one. Similar one, U.S. Year of the Rabbit with a souvenir sheet from Grenada. Another souvenir sheet, not sure where it's from, with the Arctic Hare and Canada stamp and souvenir sheets for the Year of the Hare. And again, I added the U.S. to it. This is one of his super cachets. You may remember Baghdad Bob, the spokesman from the Iraqis during the Gulf War, who claimed the U.S. wasn't there. 5-cent Seacoast stamp was issued on the first day that we invaded Iraq. So he did a first day cover with Baghdad Bob. And this is his number 1416 that he's done. This is first day for the sailboat postcard showing the Titanic on it with an extension cachet with a flag stamp on it. Since he cut out from the postcard, it was not valid for postage, so he added first class postage on it. And this is Super Cachet 1877. Another one that I added to, picked this one up at the Great American Stamp Show this year, 1976 New Zealand waterfall set, U.S. waterfall stamp from the Wonders of America. I added the waterfall from one of the stamps issued this year. This one took a lot of research as to why Nakano did it. It's a set of 2 stamps from Europa stamps from Luxembourg, issued in conjunction with World Columbian Stamp Expo. And turns out that the 2 people on it were associated with the United States. One was a publisher in Wisconsin. The other founded a number of churches in Iowa. So that explains the Lewis and Clark, Iowa cancel on it. But fortunately, Google lets me figure some of these out. This is an example of how Nakano would expand the cover, put more cancels on it. 1968 Christmas U.S. Madonna. He added in 1995 with his Perfin, the self-adhesive angel stamp. Tom Wolfe, a Canadian from 95. Apparently he must have found this cover in 2014, because this is the first day of a snowy day. And this is, looking at it now, that is not the right first day cancel for the stamp. The stamp came out in Brooklyn. But Kano got that cancel on it. This is a physical Christmas card. He added over the years, over 19 years, 4 U.S. Christmas stamps showing Madonnas, 1994, 97, 2006, and 2013. So it's a physical Christmas card. This is a Australian Fleetwood Christmas first day cover from 1980, where he added Madonna, U.S. Madonna stamps from 2009. The stamp was issued at the Hearst Castle, where that painting is, 2011 and 2013, where they both issued the Christmas stamps at the ASDA mega event in New York City. Another Christmas one, this may be my only Spanish first day cover, and in the 2002 and 2006 U.S. Madonna stamps. One of my few Brazil first day covers, they did a movie stamp in 1986. He added Betty Davis, Black Cinema, and Francis Albert Sinatra in 2008. This cachet has an AFDCS tie-in. It's done by Ed Mendowitz for a CPA firm in East Brunswick, New Jersey. He was a former treasurer of the AFDCS, still a member. He did a cover for the 1985 inaugural of Ronald Reagan, the official swearing in on Sunday the 20th, where all they did was swear in because it was Sunday. And the inaugural parade was supposed to be held on Monday the 21st. And those of us in DC remember that day was January 21st. The high was 5 degrees, and they had to cancel the inaugural parade and moved it to the Capitol Center basketball arena in Landover, Maryland. And I actually had a ticket to the Washington Bullets game that night. They still had everything set up for having inaugural bands play there. And it was a game time temperature was 0 degrees, and I think it drew 1,000 fans. But he dual canceled it with the 37-cent and 39-cent Ronald Reagan. Family unity with All in the Family, Cosby Show, and Adopting a Child. Another older art craft, 1947 Medical, with antibiotics, polio vaccine, and medical imaging from the Celebrate the Century series. In case anyone had forgotten how he did them, there's the cutouts in the back. This one he did 3 of. And this will be the last cover. It's a Canadian First Day cover for their service medals from 1984, canceled at the House of Commons. At that point, I believe both the House of Commons and Canadian Senate had post offices and produced their own First Day covers. This is the House of Commons cachet. He probably found it in 2003. He added the Purple Heart reprint issued at AmeriCover 2003 in Somerset, New Jersey. 10 years later, he added Navy Medal of Honor for 1940s. That one was issued at Arlington National Center. That was at the Korean War Memorial in D.C. I'm sorry, the World War II Memorial in D.C. My memory is failing me. And the Korean War, which was issued at the amphitheater in Arlington National Cemetery. What's interesting about this First Day ceremony, I was with Jay McGalkey, editor of Lynn's. We were walking down 17th Street to go to lunch, and they stopped traffic. I said to Jay, "You're going to see somebody famous." And President Obama's limousine pulled up to pull in the White House. He'd given the speech at Arlington National Cemetery, and he and Michelle Obama had their windows open, waving to the crowd. So you never know who you'll see after a First Day ceremony. That's my little tour of Nakano.